The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, thank you so much for being on Behind the Bars podcast. I am your host, Jason Boss, and today I have a good brother who has done a lot of time at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He goes by the name Junior, but his name is Rueben Reed Jr., and I can't thank him enough for being on this podcast and to be able to talk with all of you guys out there. My brother and my friend, how are you doing?
I'm great, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You are a very, very interesting guest. Lots of crazy stories. And let's get into this. And for everybody who has not seen the very first podcast, I'm going to link this up. If you guys click on the right-hand side at the top, the very first podcast is there, which will get you caught up into all of this. Now, Rueben is a very interesting guy because he's one of the more, I would say, violent individuals that I have encountered in my talking with brothers out there, and it's from a standpoint of living a life of violence and gang violence. Now, my brother, the last you took us to was about 14 years old or so, and if you can maybe take me through this. You had described some incidents. You had seen one guy killed. You had seen another guy I think shot at. Take me through, I guess, what the life of a gangbanger is all about. What does it mean to be in the Crips? What is it? What kind of life did you have? Take me through like 14 and up.
Okay, so gang life. I guess like any organization, you have your creeds and bylaws. Like the Crips, our creed, our helps to keep Crip my number one priority, to follow and lead with righteous authority, with honor, loyalty, and respect for all my fellow locals. That's our creed. So it's important that you stand on that. Now, you put nothing before the gang life, and nothing is bigger than the sea, as we say. Nothing is bigger than Crip. It's all about the gang. And so, day-to-day activities will include ways of just, I guess, facilitating that creed or that law by making sure that your homies eat, your homies are safe. At the same time, they have their responsibility to you. Yeah, it's a family. Even though a lot of the things that we do are fucked up, or messed up.
You're fine.
At the end of the day, it's for the greater good of the gang. And you got your hierarchy, which is your OGs and your big homies. And even though I had a righteous father, you still relate to these guys because you're attracted to the city lights and the streets and all that stuff, the glam, the cars, the women, the money, and even the violence is attractive. So, you have your hierarchy of your OGs and your big homies, right? And your whole model in life is to one day be in that position, to one day, if not be the leader of the gang, at least be a responsible Crip, somebody that the other little homies can look up to. And the only way that is possible is by first, like if you run a video with, expanding our creed, the first thing is to follow and then lead with righteous authority. So, and I think the Christian faith or the scriptures said best that, you know, I can't explain exactly how they say it, but every great leader was once a great follower. I think it's a proverb somewhere like that in the scriptures that explains that people that are in position of leadership and that are great leaders, they were once great followers.
Now, who decides who is the leader, and is there a power struggle inside of this? Is there a single designated leader, or are there multiple leaders in that, and who figures this out?
Well, yeah. See, this is what's so crazy about the gang life, because at one point in time, in order to become the big homie on the set, one of the ways to build that role was by smoking the big homie. Like, if you see that he's weak or he's not righteous in any kind of way, you pop him, you smoke him, you get him out the way, and then you the big homie. But over the years, you know what I'm saying, you have a collection of big homies. You have a collection of leaders. You have the one guy whose word is law. You know, just like any hierarchy, you have that one guy, the HNIC or the double OG, triple OG, whose word is law. But at the same time, you have a collection of big homies or older gangbangers that you look up to, or they have certain characteristics that you like, or vice versa. You have characteristics that they like, and they take you up under their wing and guide and they grow you up. And everybody plays a part. Everybody plays a role. You might have a guy who's extremely violent and is a warlord. You might have a big homie who's great at getting money, and you might have a guy that's a pimp. He's, you know what I'm saying, good with the ladies, finessing and talking women into selling themselves. But it's each one brings something different to the table. Each one has a different characteristic that sets them apart from everybody else. But at the end of the day, you got the HNIC, man, the person whose word is law. And that's pretty much how that goes.
Now, at 14 or 13, 14, I think you said is somewhere in there, you joined the gang. You were at the bottom of the totem pole, per se. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And,
that'd be correct.
And so how did you rise up through that gang? How are you establishing respect, and how are you, what did you bring to the table? I know you talked before that you were the kind of like the gunsmith, the guy that could like pull these guns apart and cling them and do that kind of stuff. Is that what your hustle was within this group?
Well, what you're asking me is what we call putting in work. Putting in work.
Putting in work, right. Okay.
Yeah, you put in work. Yeah, you put in work. And off the bat, I didn't put in a lot of work as a youngster because I lived a double life. Because, you know, I had a responsibility to my father and the church and things like that. So although I did do things around the neighborhood and with the guys, a lot of the times I was just a lookout or the guy that holds this and stuff like that. But as far as just putting in work, that came along later in life. After my football career, or my dreams of being a football player came to an end. But at one point in time, even though I was a gangbanger, I would say slid back, but I focused on school and playing football. But once my football dreams ended, then I was just full-fledged. Hey, I'll choose the streets. My dream of playing ball in college and stuff was over with. So I'm going to the streets. That's my second love, my second passion. So the Crips.
So take me through the kind of violence that you would see on a day-to-day basis. What did you guys have to do? What does that look like when, let's say, somebody had the Crips coming after them? What would they expect?
A lot of things would kick off because of like turf wars, and I'm a hooper, and so we ABK, EBK. So a lot of our natural enemies besides the blood would be other Crip gangs, like the Rolling 60 Crips and the H.O.O.V.A. They're natural enemies like dogs and cats. So a lot of our beefs and turmoil would be behind things like that. Like you had your turf wars, of course, behind who's gonna run this area, who's gonna sell, stuff like that. But a lot of the things we call riding on your enemies or taking a G ride or just getting at people was because that's what you were supposed to do. You know, give your enemies. We don't like you. You don't like us. So we like Tom and Jerry. When we see each other, ain't no talking. We just go at it.
And there's no common ground. I mean, you guys are all in blue. I mean, you it was just that. And how many different Crip divisions are there or were there in your town?
Oh man. Well, Cripping in general, you have what you call your neighborhood gangs. They're Crips that represent a certain neighborhood. But at the same time, you have gangs that have taken their name after streets in California that have become universal, like Rolling 60 Crips, RSC, or 5 Deuce H.O.O.V.A Crips, 7-4 H.O.O.V.A, 10-7, things like that. They're named after streets in California, but they become universal sets, meaning they can be found anywhere on the globe, any state in America, different countries, and things like that. But as far as different sets, man, I couldn't name them all. Because really and truly, there are new sets been formed even to this day. You know, different towns and cities from around the country, from around the globe, are getting permission from big homies and OGs in California to start their own sets and put other guys down. So it's still growing.
Now, what happens in prison where you're all divided in the free world? Do you guys come together in one color in prison, or do you guys still rival it up inside of the prisons?
That's a great question. Jason. Us being street gangs, we're not prison gangs. So when you come through the door, you have the option of coming in with your flags up, meaning you could come in gang banging or repping, or you don't have to, because it's not a prison. We're not a prison gang, we're a street gang, and a lot of these guys down here really are not righteous or really don't have the same values as you do. But when you do hit the penitentiary, you're supposed to have one love. It's supposed to be one seat. So you're supposed to have the neighborhood gangsters and H.O.O.V.A under one flag, under one leader, one supreme leader, who's called like the shot caller, or the guy that has the keys, or the governor of your unit. But whenever hard decisions have to be made, or something is done that me and my homies over here in this call or in this set don't like the call or don't like what's going on, then things get splintered. Then politics kick in. Politics play a major part in how TDC is ran. You know, you have the gray rule, and then you have the underbelly of the beast, the guys in white, which is the true laws of TDC. Like they give you orientation in this little inmate handbook when you come in, but that's all baloney. That's crap. The way PDC is really ran, man, is ran by the gang, even to this day. So, yeah, we're supposed to all be together and be one love, but when things like violations, which is when an inmate is unrighteous and breaks certain rule or certain law that the gangs have, when it comes time to violate him or beat him up or put him in the bowl, as we say, the punch bowl, then things get kind of sticky because say this guy was a Hoover and he's committed some kind of infraction. Well, we have a rule in Hoover, the H.O.O.V.A, which is how we spell Hoover, which is we help our own violent assassins. So our H.O.O. is ingrained in our bylaws. We help our own, we hurt our own. So for anybody else to put their hands on a Hoover, it's frowned upon. So if a violation does ensue, it's going to be Hoovers on Hoovers, as I was explaining to you earlier. We EBK, we kill Crips too. We kill our own. So
and for those out there, your acronym is everybody kill. What was that? What's the EK again?
Oh, ABK, anybody killer, or EBK, everybody killer.
And that just means it's a free for all, right?
Yeah, we kill everything. We don't discriminate when it comes to that.
Wild. Now, go ahead. Did you have more on that topic?
Oh, I'm just explaining the acronyms of the H.O.O.V.A, how we spell the name.
And that's
help our own, hurt our own.
That's an assassin?
Violent assassin, yeah. Violent assassins is what we are.
And are you a H.O.O.V.A?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then who tells you this, or do you just? I mean, how does one become a H.O.O.V.A?
Oh well, that's your gang. You mean how you get put down in the world?
Yeah. How
you become a gang member?
Okay. And so
it's basically based on your neighborhood, as I was saying to you in last podcast. Based on your neighborhood, on the guys that hang around and stuff like that. And back in the day, and which I still stand on, like I'm not active like I used to be. I don't gang bang like I used to. You know, I represent something, but as far as like how it used to be, how they was just full on active, I'm not that anymore. But I still have my beliefs on how the gangs are supposed to be ran and should be ran. Like to get put down, as we call it, to become part of the gang, you got socked up for 52 seconds. You got your flag in your pocket on your left side because the Crips, you're back to the left. So, and you run it. They line you up. They might send 2 or 3 other homies to punch you down, or it might be 5 or 6. It all depends on how good you are. And you run it. They line you up. You get socked up. And then after that, you start putting in work. But nowadays, the way these young guys do it, the way the gang life is, they doing what you call getting blessed in. Well, like, this is my big brother, or that my big brother is the leader of the gang, or a cousin, or even a father, or something like that. And so you born into it, or you just blessed into it, and then you go to putting in work. But back in the day, you got locked up. You got punched up, man. You got punched into the game.
And this is
blood in, blood out.
And so this is when you were in the streets that if, say, for instance, I wanted to join a gang, and is this like the final initiation? Like this guy, I've been committed, and then they put several guys, and then your job is to try to take all of them on?
Yes, sir. That's pretty much it. You know, we don't really use the word prospect like a lot of the prison gangs and a lot of the white Mexican gangs. Say, well, they watch you for a while before they, you know what I'm saying, initiate you and put you down and stuff like that. There's not really a prospect period. You know, you come around, you hang around, you know, and then one day somebody might ask you, hey, little nigga, you want to get down? or you might go down and be like, hey, man, I want to be down. And that's when it started. But, once you get socked up, you in.
Now let's run through this socked up thing. Most of the people do most of the people know how to fight that are trying to join the gang, like fist fight?
No, not at all. Not at all, man. And that really determines on the amount of people that they send in there on you. See, me, at one point in time, I was all right. I was pretty good. I was live from the shoulders, man. I was pretty live from the shoulders. So I'm going to run it. The first 3, boom, boom, I drop down. Then they send 2 more, boom, boom. The other 3 get back up. So now I got 5 on me. And we going. And it's crazy because when I got home that afternoon, my pops, he was a military guy. So coming in the house with knots and hickeys, it was just all part of boyhood to him. So to come in, with black eye, bruised up, busted lip and stuff, it was just boys being boys.
Now, you say, for instance, you are getting ready to get socked up, and is it one-on-one to begin with? Does everybody just tackle you, or what does that look like?
It all depends on the big homie or the OG, and really on you if he think you can handle it or not. In my instance, like I say, because I've always been a big guy. I've always been bigger than most of the guys around. Off the muscle, 3 people, boom. I was the muscle, 3 people for 52 seconds. Like we go 52 seconds. Go to 60, they go 60 seconds. A lot of the gangster Crips, they go 60 seconds and different things like that. Depends on who your gang is and what area they're from and stuff like that. Depends on the amount of time that they run it. And it's the same way with your violations.
What is the point of, especially guys that don't know how to fight? And, they're obviously, I spent my life in MMA, so I realize that, the street people don't know how to fight for the most of the life. So, is the point just to beat the crap out of somebody? Is that what it is?
No, not at all, Jason. It's called a heart check. It's called a heart check. The white gangs and the Mexican gangs down here at penitentiary, they run them religiously as soon as you come through the door. Even, even if you're not part of anything with the whites and the Mexicans down here, it's called a heart check, man. They just want to see what you're going to do. And that's basically what it is. They borrow that from the street gangs, man, that heart check. Just want to see what you're going to do. If you're going to punch back, or you're going to fold up, you're going to stand 10 toes down, or what?
And what happens when people don't fight? What happens when this is too much for them? How long do they continue on, like a 52-second beating, or is it do they get beat regardless of the time, or if they shell up and they these obviously not gang material? What happens?
In the world or in the penitentiary?
Well, let's just start with the world.
In the world, then you don't belong. You don't belong.
All right. Now in the penitentiary,
they may in the penitentiary. Ooh, you don't want to see that stuff, Jack, because that's where you, depending on different gangs and stuff like that, you don't want to fight. And you're gonna be washing clothes and making bowls. You're gonna be busting that commissary or getting that ass busted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So it's like you really have no choice in prison if you are trying to join a gang. Is that correct? You got to fight.
Yeah, like. It's not as bad as it used to be down here. And it made a lot of it. And it made what they call safe. And it made prisons safe down here. So it's not like it used to be to where as soon as you come in, put your stuff down, get up under the stairs, up under the TV, and they look at you. It's not really like that anymore. You still have gladiator units where that goes on. but for the most part, they've made it safe down here in prison, stuff like that.
Now, is this all black in this gang, or is there anything mixed? Are there Mexicans and whites, or is it just straight black?
Well, see, the Crips started out as gangs to protect the neighborhood versus against the police brutality. The police coming in the neighborhood and beating the shit out of a young black man and stuff like that. And so that was how the gangs originated. And so it was all a black thing, you know. It was the guys in the neighborhood coming together to combat police brutality. And it wasn't even called Crips. Then they had a whole bunch of different names for different gangs and stuff like that in the streets. But once the Crips were formed, it was all black, predominantly black, and it wasn't just about police brutality. We were up to no good. The Crips was up to no good. It wasn't formed for anything good, for anything positive, or anything like that. It was all about me and my boys. We better than you, and you can't stop us. We're gonna do what we want. We're gonna take what we want. It was nothing just positive about it. But now you fast forward to today's time, you have, like, in the city of Houston at one point in time, you had an all-Mexican Crip gang. In different parts of Texas, like Fort Worth, you have, like, I forgot what the ethnicity is, but they're like Samoans, Tongans. That's what they are. They have an all Tongan or Asian gang that's all Crips. And so even down here in TDC, now you meet a lot of white boys or Mexicans that are Crips. But when they do hit the penitentiary and they're part of a Crip or even blood gang, and they're not black, if they're white and Mexican, they used to have a pretty hard time from the other gangs of their race, always, you know, picking at them or calling them a race traitor or a disgrace. And then you got some guys that are white and Mexican Crips that are really stomped down. They're really about that life. They about that action. You know, they Crip crazy. And they willing to die behind this.
You have 1 minute left.
Wow. This is an amazing podcast. Brother, do you got anything you want to finish up, leave the people with at all on this podcast?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to give you my top 5 power couples. Adam and Eve, Ananias and Sapphira, Bonnie and Clyde, Joker and Harley Quinn, love and forgiveness. People think that the opposite of love is hate, but it's not. The opposite of love is forgiveness. Love is shalom, shalom, perfect peace, completeness. Love is light, and there is no darkness. It is the only way. It is the only truth. It's the only life.
Beautiful. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Rueben, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.